welcome back.
Yeah, we missed you. We missed you last week, man.
Been a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. And it is, it's been interesting times, to say the least. Before we get into the Hub City announcement that was official, were rumored late last week, and then made official yesterday. We're going to get you to weigh in on our conversation from earlier today. Do you watch Unsolved Mysteries, Baggedmilk?
No, I haven't, but I have it listed on my Netflix queue because I'm looking forward to. I used to watch it all the time back in the 90s.
Yeah,
and it was the best
with Robert Stack.
I'm looking forward to. Robert Stack was the best, and just like that dead look in his eyes as he was telling stories or whatever, it was the best. I love that show, and I can't wait to watch it again.
Am I wrong? Did something happen to him, his family, or something where that's why he was sort of motivated to get involved with that show?
Maybe you're thinking of the America's Most Wanted.
Oh, yeah.
John Walsh's kid was abducted, I believe.
That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so one of the 6 episodes, I think, is about this alien UFO thing that happened back in 1969 on September 1st in New York State. And they interview all these people that didn't know each other from a smaller area that all witnessed something and may have been abducted. So we want you to, and the underlying sort of theme was that these people, they had different opinions about whether or not they should be sharing what they saw or went through with people. So that was the discussion this morning. If you saw or something happened to you in that UFO sort of world, would you tell anybody?
See, when you sent me this text before, I just had a really hard time with it because as much as I would want to tell somebody, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you go out and start telling people I got abducted and probed by aliens or whatever, then you're going to end up on TV shows with just like crazy blogger as he was abducted by aliens. And I'm just like, I don't know if I need that.
It's going to ruin your potential employment, your relationships.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to find a babe out here. Like, who knows what they're Googling? I don't need that.
Correct.
I don't know. Would you guys admit to anybody?
I said no, I wouldn't tell people because I don't think anyone would believe me, so what's the point?
Jimmy lied and said he would, and I am all over it. Like,
Locke would be on the news, and
I'd be all over it.
Like, I just don't know if I want to be on the news for that, and just people being like, get a load of this guy.
Because the only people that are going to believe you are the crazies, right? So
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, everybody I went to high school with is sharing screenshots of me talking about aliens.
Check it out.
I just don't need that. I don't need it.
You're the guy that's getting texted about in group chats and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Hub City announcement. Were you surprised that the NHL decided to do both Hub Cities in Canada, one in Toronto, one in Edmonton?
Well, it's so funny because I was thinking back to the last time we spoke. It looked like there was a chance that, and it was Jimmy said it looked like there was a chance that it was going to be Vegas and Vancouver.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward 2 weeks, and both of those cities were out, and it was just kind of interesting. Like, Vegas had so many confirmed cases of COVID. They're like, I don't know if this is a very good idea to come to Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're probably right. It's not a good idea to come to Vegas. So, Edmonton from the start had always seemed like the quote-unquote safest place that they could play.
Yeah.
And it seemed like players didn't want to spend time in the city because it was Edmonton and there's not as much to do as there is to Vegas. But at the end of the day, do you guys want to play or do you not? So Canada, in general, if you're looking at the numbers, seems like a much better option. So I was surprised, but I don't know if I should have been. I was actually just happy that the NHL went with a modus operandum of being like, we need the players to be in the safest locations they can be, not where they're going to have the most fun.
Exactly, and where it's easiest for the players to get to is the one thing that I was sort of thinking. Because, is it easier for people, is it more central for everybody to go to Vegas? Right? I thought maybe that would be part of the conversation. I thought.
And they have all the infrastructure, and there's hotels everywhere, and like you got it. But then if you looked at the numbers of what's happening in Vegas, you'd be like, I don't know if this is a very good idea.
I'm very impressed, and I don't know about you. I'm guessing you did. I read all of the protocols and everything, and I realize other sports are doing similar things, but I think the NHL might be one of the leaders in how to handle this return to play, or even the start of a season, with respect to comparatively with other major leagues, right?
Well, for me, one of the most impressive things about this whole process is that the NHL and the players have actually seemed to work together for a common goal a lot more than some of the other sports it seems. If you read about how the negotiations went for baseball, it just seemed like those two sides were on completely opposite sides of the ledger. They couldn't really get along, and then finally they kind of met in the middle somewhere. But for the NHL, it seemed like they were always kind of working together towards a common goal, including they just renewed the CBA for a 4-year extension, which means that there's not going to be a lockout until at least past 2026, which again was another positive that come from the NHLPA and the league itself. So I like the way that they work together.
Yeah,
it seems like, and I imagine both sides had to make plenty of concessions and compromises to get this done, but you have to be happy about the way it worked. Now, the NHL also had an advantage of the bulk of this year's salary had already been paid out, whereas baseball, they hadn't even started yet, so that was a major difference. But still, it was nice to see them working together. It was nice to see them pushing forward, and fingers crossed, it looks like we're going to have a hockey game to watch on August 1st.
Oh, my God.
So I have an idea. I want to run this by you. I just tweeted it, where they do a raffle.
This is brilliant.
And everyone buys a $50 ticket. Money goes to charity, and then the winner of the raffle gets to go to all the games by themselves.
So we were talking about this on the Real Life podcast a couple of weeks ago. Like, if you had the opportunity to quarantine in the hotel with the players, but that meant you got to go to all the games, would you do it? And I was like, man, I got nothing else going on right now. Of course.
You could do your job. It would be helpful for you to do it, right? For your job.
Of course. And it's actually kind of funny. Like, I was reading through the media guidelines. So basically, long and short, media from out of town, they've got about as much access from their houses as they would if they actually came to Edmonton, which makes me laugh because they like to take shots at bloggers from not being in the rink all the time.
Yeah.
Well, now you're all bloggers. So it just made me laugh. But yeah, I love that idea. Raise some money for charity. And I also think it would be hilarious to have, I don't know how many sections there are at Rogers Place, let's just say 10 or whatever, just to have 10, 20 fans spread out around the arena just with a little, woo!
This is little noises.
This is your section. Yeah. Guy there just dancing his shirt off,
Getting
foam
drunk.
finger. Yeah.
Just a pile of empties around you. It would be the best. Why not?
Okay, here's a question that we had earlier in the week when it was made official that Edmonton. Do you think people are going to be dumb and they're going to make their way down there and try? Do you know what I mean? Like, they had that problem with soccer in Europe.
Yeah, they're going to be standing outside the Terwilliger Rec Center hoping to see guys as they come in for practice or whatever.
Or during games trying to go out and cheer in the streets and stuff.
Yeah.
Listen. You know this is going to happen.
Yeah,
we're looking at the most common denominator here. You know it's going to happen. We're having people, I mean, this is in the States mostly, but you have people yelling in Costco's about being asked to wear masks and then throwing their groceries everywhere. So, yeah, somebody's going to be standing outside of Rogers Place being like, let me in, I want to watch them play. And just, it's going to be wild, and I hope it doesn't happen, but I can't help but feel like it's going to, right?
Right. I think it would be a mistake. Where I can see it, obviously it's a mistake. That's a stupid thing to say. I just hope we don't do it. If we get to a point where Edmonton starts doing well and maybe they're making the playoffs, I think that's where we're going to have some issues, right? Where people are going to start to gather. And anyway, I don't think we should. I
don't think we should either.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that, you're talking to the guy who hasn't really left his house outside of going to the grocery store much in 4 months. So I'm with you, man. I don't think that people should be going anywhere, but, they do what they do.
Baggedmilk?
Do I believe that they will? Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everyone's just smart and stays home and watches the game on TV.
We all need to wear Daft Punk helmets, and that's the only solution to all of this.
Jimmy's got a couple Stormtrooper helmets. So.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
They're pretty big,
man.
though.
We're all walking around like that. Let's go.
We'll be fine. All right, Baggedmilk. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Thanks, boys.